Hello, I would like to do some quick review for on all the tests that we have studied in this semester. I would like to review using some examples that I created. And first of all, these are the major tests that we have studied in the semester. So we have some one sample problem, there were two sample problems, and there were some multi-sample problems. So these two will be the one sample, and this will be the two sample, right? And these three are the two sample. And for the last two, that will be multi-sample, three or more. Uh, Now let's begin with the first one. Dr. Huang wants to provide some passing rate information to students who plan to take Math 210. And he claims that more than 90% Math 210 students pass the class. So what kind of test should we use? And seems to me this is a number that's related to one single proportion, right? So this is a specific number we want to test. We want to test proportion. So based on this information, we will pick this is one sample test for proportion. You don't see two samples here. You don't see comparing two different groups. We are just testing specific population, which is the students taking Math 210. We look at the pass rate. So 90% is the one that we are comparing. So this is one sample test for proportion. Let's take a look at another one. Here, Dr. Huang wants to provide some passing rate information to students who prefer face-to-face class and hesitate to enroll in Math 210 online section. To reduce some anxiety of this type of students, here's Dr. Huang's claim. So he claims that the percent of students passing the course in online section is higher than the percent of students passing the course in face-to-face section. Of course, these are all hypothetical claims that I created. Here, just provide you a little intuitive reason, because he guessed that students in online section tend to be more self-disciplined, which will help students pass the course. Now, obviously, we by reading the claim carefully, we do see that there's a comparison right here. One is the students, the percent of students passing the course in online section, right? Online section, and compare that to the face-to-face section. And what are we comparing? The percentage. Therefore, based on this information, I'm gonna say this will be the two sample test for proportions. You should pick this procedure for this scenario. Now let's continue. Another scenario is Dr. Huang wants to provide some students performance information to students who hesitate to enroll in Math 210 online section. And here's the claim. The mean final score, so the mean final score in online section is higher than the mean final score in the face-to-face section. And for the same reason, we see there is a comparison here. We're comparing online section with face-to-face section. And what are we comparing? The mean, the average, the mean final scores. So because of that, we are going to say, hey, this is a two sample test. And we are comparing two independent samples because you would not assume that the face-to-face section and online section, they are dependent, right? These two groups have nothing to do with each other, so it will be two independent samples. And clearly, we are testing mean. So that's why we picked that procedure. Let's continue. Some former nursing students proudly told Dr. Huang that nursing students are doing the best in Math 210 because they have the highest passing rate. Now, however, Dr. Huang believes that whether students pass or fail in Math 210 is actually independent of their majors. If you are reading this carefully, we're testing the relationship between two variables, right? The first one is whether students pass or fail, pass or fail. The second one is their major. Are they related? Are they dependent or independent? Uh, let's continue to read. To test what he believes, Dr. Huang looks at his recent Math 210 classes and summarizes the hypothetical information into the following table. Now, students are grouped into by majors, and also students are also their pass or failed will be observed, and they're categorized into this two-way table, which is called a contingency table. And if you can recall, to test the relationship between a row variable, this is your row variable, pass or fail, and the column variable, which is the measure, right? So we do the chi-square test for relationship between two categorical variables. So you do a chi-square test. Now the next one, about the same context. Now here, this is what former nursing students told Dr. Huang. So they believe that nursing students are doing the best in Math 210 because they have the highest mean final score. However, Dr. Huang believes that the mean final score of students from different majors are the same. Now let's read that carefully. This time we are talking about the mean final score from different majors. Okay, different majors. So basically we are comparing the mean final score among those different groups. And in this hypothetical data set, we are comparing the mean of those groups. And ANOVA test, which is the very last one, is specifically designed to test for the equality of three or more means. So therefore, I pick the number 7. Pay attention to the difference between this particular one. We are comparing the mean score, and the previous one we are testing whether independent or dependent for the pass or failure rate and their majors. So in this one, the pass or failure, this is a categorical variable. We are not talking about the mean score. Therefore, we pick chi-square for this particular one, and for the one we just went through, that's the testing the mean. So that will be ANOVA. So let's look at the next one. For different reasons, some students will have to retake Math 210 in another semester, and Dr. Huang believes that students who retake Math 210 will do better in their units exam 1 than the last time they took the class. And here's part of the data sets he collected, again, hypothetical data sets. So because we're comparing the unit 1 exam scores, so we are going to collect unit 1 exam score from the first time the student taking this Math 210 and from the second time student taking the Math 210. So for each student, there are two numbers collected. One is unit exam 1 from the first time he took it. The second one is the second time he took it, right? So these numbers come in pair. They're from the same person. Therefore, these two samples, they are dependent samples, right? They're dependent samples. For dependent samples, when we test their mean score, we use the number 5, the matched pair test for mean for two dependent samples. Well, hopefully these are examples that I try to create to help you understand the difference between those tests. Hopefully they provide you a quick review for all the major tests that we have studied in this whole semester.